Hi, welcome to video 9.2, variation within a data set. So you're going to need a graphing calculator for this, so if you don't have one, pause it and go grab one. Okay, so measures of central tendency, that's like your mean, median, and mode that you are pretty familiar with. Today we're also going to look at measures of variation, which means how the numbers in a set differ from each other. And we're going to first look at a measure of variation called the interquartile range. So inter means like in the middle of, quartile means a fourth, and then range is the largest minus the smallest. So what we're doing with this is if your numbers aren't in order, you're going to list them in order. Then you're going to divide them into quarters. So the first thing we need to do is find our middle number so we can divide it in half. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we have 17 numbers, so that means if we divide that in half, it's 8. So the ninth number is going to be our middle number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is going to be our median or our middle number. Then we're going to look at the first half and divide it in half. There's 8 numbers, so our half is going to be right there, and our first quartile is going to be right in between 4 and 5, so that's 4.5. Our second quartile is going to be in between 9 and 10, because we're looking at the second half, and where's the middle of it? And so that's going to be 9.5. So your interquartile range, IQR, is your quartile 1 minus, actually I'm sorry, it's going to be your quartile 3 minus your quartile 1. So your bigger number here minus your smaller number. So 9.5 minus 4.5, our interquartile range is 5. Okay, go ahead and pause and try the second one yourself. All right, coming back, your answer here, your Q3 is 8, your Q1 is 6, and you subtract them and you get 2. All right, now we're going to try another measure of variation, which is called our standard deviation. And that is like our average of differences. So how much the data set varies from your average. And we're not going to go into the actual calculation of it because it's crazy and there's a lot to it, and our calculators can do it for us. So what I'm going to show you is how to put that into your calculator. So go ahead and grab your graphing calculator, and if it's not on, turn it on. And then you are going to clear out your list so that we can put a new list in. So to clear out your list, it's going to be second, memory, 4 is clear all lists, and push enter, and then it tells you that it's done. Okay, so first we're going to put in our list for our data set. So there's our list right up here, and I'm going to go to stat, and I want to edit my list. So I just push enter. I'm going to go to list 1, but it really doesn't matter what list you use. And now I'm going to put in all my values. So 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 2 6s, 7, 2 8s, 2 9s, 2 10s, and 2 11s. Okay, so that's my entire list. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go back to my original screen. It won't work if I'm on that screen where I'm editing lists. Then you want to do second list. Arrow over to math. And then number 7 is your standard deviation there. So we're going to go to number 7. And then I want the standard deviation of list 1. So if you can see down here on 1, my little yellow says L1. That stands for list 1. So I'm going to go second, list 1, close parentheses, and then I push enter, and that's going to give me my standard deviation. I'm just going to round to the nearest 10th. So my standard deviation here is 2.7. Okay, let's try that again, and we're going to write down how to do it this time so that you have a record of it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to clear out your lists. So in order to clear your lists, you're going to go second, memory, second, memory, and then you're going to do number 4. enter. Okay, then we're going to do our standard deviation. So step 1, go to Stat, Edit. And then you're going to fill your list. So filling our list, in this one, it's just, let me move this so you can see both. So it's going to be 5, 2 5s, 2 6s, 2 7s, 2 8s, and 2 9s. Okay, once you've filled your list, then we're going to go to Second List. Actually, I'm sorry. First, we're going to go back to our original screen, like our home screen. So we're going to do Second, Quit, and that'll get to our home screen. Okay, then we do Second List. Then you arrow to Math. And then you do number 7, which is your standard deviation. Then you're going to put, in parentheses, you put the list. So you're going to add the list. I'll just put choose list because you're not going to add it. So choose L1 or whatever list it is you put it under. So L1, close parentheses, and then push enter. And then you should get your answer. So this one should be 1 point, if we round it to the nearest tenth, it's 1.5. Okay, so I would like you to try this next one here. So you're going to find the mean, which is just adding it up and dividing by all the numbers. And you can actually find the mean on your calculator too. It's in the same list as the standard variation or standard deviation. So if you want to try finding the mean the same way, but going to the mean instead of the standard deviation, you can try that, or you can just do it manually. It's up to you. So pause and try those 3, please. Okay, here are your answers. So your mean should have been somewhere around 3.63. Your interquartile range is 3, and your standard deviation is 1.8. Okay, let's move on to the back here. So go ahead and we'll do this one together. So why is a standard deviation better measure of diversity in age than the mean? The mean is what we call a measure of center. So the mean is a measure of center, meaning it's telling us like about what all of them are, an average, and the standard deviation is a measure of variation, which means it's telling us about the diversity or the difference in the age rather than the mean, measure of variation. Okay, please try all of these, just kind of getting the idea. So you're going to finish the page on your own and then come back and check your answers. Just getting to the idea that standard deviation, the higher your standard deviation is, the more the variation in your data set. And if you have a low standard deviation, that's going to be not very much difference in the numbers in your data set. So pause and try those, please. Okay, here are your answers. So I guessed soda A on this one, and then looking at my standard deviation, it proved that the soda A has 9.09, soda B 4.08 has a standard deviation, and then of course number 3 has very little variation in the numbers. There's only 3 different numbers and they're all super close together. So that's going to have a standard deviation very close to 0. All right, please write down any questions you have for me and we will talk about them in class.